Now, a very common reason why some people don't like or choose not to watch anime is because it has a reputation for being weird. And as much as I love it, I gotta say, I can see where they're coming from. So today, we're gonna look back at some of the most weirdest scenes and the freakiest characters from over the years, and give them a rating 1 through 10. Because, why not? With that said, let's get into it. So yeah, the two main reasons why people see anime as weird is because 1, the fans they see consuming it, and 2, the shows themselves. I can't lie, a majority of anime fans I know, including myself, are a little bit different. Which I love, because I hate bland people, but I do also feel like there's levels to the weirdness. Now don't get mad at me, but when you're at the maximum stereotypical level of an anime fan, you probably don't quite fit the norm. But besides fans already having the reputation for being a little odd, I gotta say, certain scenes do not be helping our case either. Like, if someone walked in on you watching some of these, you are definitely going to be judged, which is exactly what happened with me with this first contender. So let's start out strong, because we're bringing out all the freaks for this video. Now, when I got into Hunter x Hunter, I was still a pretty fresh fan. Like, I only had a good few shows under my belt, so I was never exposed to such a weird character by that point. The weirdest one by then was someone else on this list, but Hisoka really takes the cake in my opinion. And with him, it's not even just one specific scene. He's really just a lot all the time. But yeah, since I didn't know what he was on for real yet, I was watching Hunter x Hunter in my living room, boldly might I add. It was during the Gon and Hisoka fight when my mom walked in, and things just looked super weird at that point.
Gon, that's good. You're so very good.
And to top it off, my family is Jamaican, so if you know, you know. But yeah, he says a lot of questionable things, especially towards Gon, who is 12 years old. Like, forget the words, do you really have to use that tone of voice too? For the most part, his moments in heat is usually because he's excited at the thought of fighting someone strong. So I can let the getting so turned on when he sees good fighting potential and, you know, all the bloodlust slide. But then we have scenes like the one where he tells Gon and Killua to walk in front of him, and we get this. Their asses have nothing to do with the fight, so I don't care. Comic relief or not, the man is a weirdo, so yeah, let's rate him. On the weird scale, Hisoka as a whole, I'ma give him a solid 7. Yeah, I know, pretty low. Only because he technically didn't do nothing to nobody, but he's just too fucking freaky. Now, something that a lot of these scenes have in common is that they be happening at random ass times. Definitely how I got caught lacking. But a scene that really threw me for how random it was gotta be the table scene in Code Geass. I'm pretty sure I missed it on the first watch, but rewatching a little while after, I had to rewind to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing for real. It's natural to find people attractive, don't get me wrong. I guess she had her little crush on Yuffie, but the scene is really crazy to me, not because of her doing it in general, but because why are you so infatuated that you had to do this out in the open? Clearly, they really wanted us to know her crush wasn't healthy and was turning into more of an obsession. Like, it definitely wasn't giving cute at that point, but I probably would have gotten that if they showed a scene of her simply stalking her or something. But no, she had to just be assaulting a table in the dark. Like, what if Nunnally wasn't blind? I'm giving the scene a 5. Like I said with Hisoka, she technically didn't do nothing to no one, well, besides that table, but still, it was just overall creepy. Now our next entry is someone who did something pretty similar, but worse. We gotta talk about the hospital scene in Neon Genesis. Now, remember how in shit like Attack on Titan, how Armin used to visit Annie when she was unconscious and talk to her through the crystal a lot? There's no harm in doing something like that. I'll even say it's cute. So you would think Shinji would be on the same type of timing for Asuka, who he likes so much, right? Yeah, no. Well, I guess he was at first until he seen a little too much of her and...
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Like, he really took it upon himself to lock the door and proceed to beat his area to his hospitalized unconscious friend. He recognizes how fucked up it is too, which makes this even worse in my opinion. I mean, he's gone through plenty of mental trauma at this point, but to me, that doesn't really justify this. And wasn't there another time he was trying to kiss her while she was regularly sleeping? So not gonna lie, it's giving he just doesn't know how to not let his intrusive thoughts take over, which is actually really dangerous. And what's even worse is while being like this, at the same time he does give off that innocent or harmless vibe. Meanwhile, you just never know what he's actually gonna do for real. But anyways, I don't know if it's because I'm not a guy, so maybe I just don't get him all the way. But to me, I just seen him as super creepy, especially in the hospital scene. And the way they did the scene made me think someone was crying for her. The whole time, he was just doing this. Anyways, we're giving him and his terrible risk a 6.5. But alright, let's move on. Okay, so for Devilman Crybaby, there's a lot of scenes that are just whoa. But let's talk on specifically Miko for a second. So the first scene with her that was a little odd was the one where she was getting off to the idea of being assaulted by her photographer. You'd think she'd be traumatized from this, but no. She uses the encounter to imagine it was Akira doing it. This is really another one that just happened randomly. And to top it off, she was making these noises while doing it, and not like normal moaning, it was this. Mind you, this was before her merging with her demon, so she's always been a little kinky. But overall, I was like, okay. But then later on, we have a scene where she lets a homeless guy think he's about to R-word her, just so she can satisfy her needs. What really had me though, was the fact before he could finish, she offs him, assumably so she could keep going. So yeah, from what we see, the girl clearly has an R-word fetish. Also, she may hate Minutemen more than the average girl. Like I said though, the whole show is out of pocket, but I don't care. We're still putting her specifically on here. So let's rate her. I'm gonna give her a solid 9. Alright, so the next one is a classic for real. I think Orochimaru was the first really freaky nigga I seen in anime period. And since he's the OG freaky nigga for a lot of people, y'all may think I'm tweaking for saying this, but in my opinion, he's actually not that bad, especially when you come across what other characters be doing. But for Naruto show standards, he was definitely on the freaky side in more ways than one. Or maybe I should say the creepy side. I don't know, he was just weird. The kidnapping and the luring boys to give them power to then use their bodies just sounds left field. But besides that, his overall presence, especially in part 1 Naruto, was just always unsettling. But as far as weird scenes go, for him, it's definitely gonna have to be the swallowing the scroll scene. It just felt unnecessary, and it felt like it went on a little longer than it needed to. And the funny thing is, no one there was any match for him, so really, he didn't have to do all that. He for sure could have just left with it in his hand. But let's give him a 5. Actually, I'm gonna bump it up to like a 5.5. Just because he was really the OG freak for me. Everyone in Naruto seen him as a creep. But I don't know, y'all let me know in the comments if you think he should be a little bit higher. He was sucking on all those kids' necks, and he kept calling Sasuke's body beautiful. Maybe a solid 6 is better. Like, I know he did a lot for Naruto show standards, but overall, I don't know, I just don't feel like he's super high. So yeah, definitely let me know, guys. Anyways, on to the next. And just when you think it can't get any weirder after what Shinji and Nina were doing, it does with her next one. Do not watch this show in front of anybody, unless you are trying to prove the point that anime can get weird. So yeah, we got Shimonetta, but specifically the love nectar scene. There's so much going on in this one scene, y'all. So first, Anna decides to give them cookies, which is always a plus. But as they're eating the cookies, she then openly admits to actually getting off to thinking about Sun last night, all while assaulting a table. But unlike Nina, she's doing it very confidently with no shame. But being the girl she is, she's kind enough to let them know the cookies they were currently eating was filled with a special ingredient from what she was doing last night. Meaning, these specific cookies were filled with her love nectar. His scream was justified. I swear, scenes like this really make you stop and rethink what you're even watching. I mean, it's expected with this type of anime. This is just one I couldn't believe when I first seen it. Anna was bugging the whole show though, so her, along with this scene, solid 10. Like, it doesn't get any weirder than this. Plus, she's really an all-in-one. Most of what the other characters are on here for, she's done it all. Assaulting tables, getting off at questionable times, plenty of essay on Akuma, like the list goes on. So in my opinion, the 10 is well deserved. Alright, next up, we got Tsukiyama from Tokyo Ghoul, and man oh man. So with him, he always kind of gave me Hisoka vibes, just a little more unstable. Actually, there's a couple characters that really give me Hisoka vibes, but I think Shuu is the most consistently weird, so we gotta focus on him right now. So when it came to Kaneki, he was moving pretty possessive. Basically, he really wants to eat him because being half ghoul and half human makes a really rare breed, which I get. It's like wanting to try a really extravagant type of food, but you just know it's gonna hit. Now, I've been excited to try new food, but he really takes it to a new level. Every time he gets a little whiff of Kaneki's blood, or god forbid, a little taste, we end up seeing scenes like this. You can make of that what you will, but he should not be tweaking like that. I'm personally giving this man a 6.5. Alright, so before I continue with the actual entries, I wanted to talk on the nigga trope in general. You know, since a lot of shows have at least one character who's usually down bad, I personally don't mind it unless it's really overdone. Kinda like how Meliodas can't even stand next to Elizabeth without grabbing something. But maybe his just felt like a lot because he's literally the MC. But eventually I was thinking, damn, relax. But yeah, y'all, characters like Roshi, Sanji, Jiraiya, Mineta, Alessi are all on or around the same level of perv to me. So I kind of see it as pointless to literally rate each individual one, if that makes sense. But no doubt they can all provide you with some wacky moments as well, you know? Well, if they stay on screen long enough. But I just wanted y'all to know I didn't completely forget about any of them. Anyways, back to the entries. So Food Wars is another one you fake can't watch in front of people either. When watching Food Wars, you might notice that every time they eat food, they do this. And they're literally always eating food, so yeah. Some people are just a little more passionate about food than others. See, Tsukiyama would fit right in. But yeah, y'all, these scenes would be hard to explain to a non-anime watcher. So the eating food scenes, I'm giving them an 8, especially since it happens so much. I swear, Food Wars is just fan service and food. Really good looking food, but that's not the point. Now, something that could be confusing for fans and even more confusing for non-fans is something called traps. It's usually a character who has a very feminine appearance, but at the end of the day, is still a guy. As you watch more and more anime though, I'm sure you don't even bat an eye when you discover a new one. But for a particular scene in Konosuba, I couldn't help it. Forget trap, this was a full-on ambush. Now that one caught me off guard, I can't even lie. And I almost didn't include this one because it was more funny rather than weird to me. This is fake how it be in real life too, not gonna lie. You can dead see a baddie and just never know. But I'm giving this scene a calm 4. But speaking of baddies, our last entry is a show full of them. But the thing is, they're all literally insane. They be seriously tweaking when it comes to this gambling shit. The two that stick out to me the most is Miko and Midari. Both insane. They both get incredibly turned on when it comes to the risk of the game. And don't let Miko be up. Overall, I would say Midari is way worse though. Just off the fact she doesn't get enjoyment from gambling with bread no more. She only gets it in extreme situations now, which is why we see her tweak so much. Hence the Russian roulette shit, the stabbing and giving up her own eye in hopes she can continue gambling. And don't forget all this while getting beyond turned on by the thrill of it all. So I'll just say, almost any scene with Midari specifically, she's gonna say or do something strange. So Midari, I'll give her a 7.5. Anyways, before I show y'all how the final rankings turned out, this video was sponsored by Anime Express. This is the first place I get all my anime merch from. And the site has a new look. We love that. My favorite thing on the site is definitely the shirts. But they also do have a lot of accessories too, so definitely check them out. But make sure to use my code LINDO10 for a discount. But yeah, yo, this is my final list with everybody. So let me know if I'm way off or if you're jacking this. I feel pretty good about it. I pretty much did this based on what I feel like someone who doesn't watch at all would find weird. So basically, if they walked in and seen any of these on your TV. Now I know, this may not seem like the most out-of-pocket moments ever, but these are some of the weirdest ones I've personally seen. Also, I didn't want to spam with mad ecchi or include ones that were super serious or graphic. Usually the more serious scenes are the ones that actually serve a purpose, you know, not being weird for shits and giggles, if you get what I mean. But if you do want me to get into some actual disturbing anime moments, definitely let me know in the comments, because man oh man, the list for that goes on. But yeah, yo, I just wanted to do a more fun video today, only because I swear I'm always doing more controversial ones. Yeah, we're back to the regular scheduled programming with the next one. And thank y'all for 4K subs. My goal for the end of the summer was 5K, but summer barely started and we're already mad close, so fuck it, we're going for 10. Love y'all so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this.
Uh-oh, that sounds like pedophilia. Stop!